Hi there, my name is Sue, and I'm an adoptive mom and a foster mom, and I want to thank you for the chance to just share something with you today. There's a lot of talk right now about adoption and foster care, and if you're wondering why, it's because we believe that children thrive in families. We're designed by God to function in a family unit. We're not designed to be in big groups, to be in big orphanages, but our design by our Creator, by God Himself, is that we would thrive in families. And family is where we find connection. Family is where we find belonging. Family is where we find a name, where we find a future, and where we find long term, we find people who will walk the road with us. I was discussing this with my son actually, and he's 6 years old, and I was trying to explain to him why we push for families, and we were talking about our work and our ministry, and he said to me, so it's kind of like a combi and a motorbike, and it's like the motorbike trying to be a combi, right? And I said, actually it is kind of like that. So when we put children as the motorbike into a situation where we expect them to function like a combi and we expect them to be able to do that, we're missing it. That's not what we're designed to do. But if we can bring the bike to do what it's supposed to do and the combi to do what it's supposed to do, then we're going to have good outcomes. And it's the same for kids. If we have them growing up in orphanages and big institutions, we are not going to get the outcomes that we want. We're not going to have adults who can function well in society and who can reach their potential. So we want to encourage you to just consider that even research, science and research, without any shadow of a doubt, says that children thrive in families. That when we find connection, when we find belonging, all our outcomes are improved. Our health is improved, our learning is improved, our cognitive capacity is improved, our social skills are improved, our relational skills, our capacity to attach to other human beings. And that plays out into so many things in our adult life. So it's really, really critical that we change our mindset from an orphan mentality to a family mentality. Children belong in families, they thrive in families. We're an adoptive family and a foster family. And when we first started to foster kids, it was really scary because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You don't know what the long-term plan is necessarily for that child. And the first time it was really a step of faith actually for us to take. But having done it once, we did it again, and I would keep doing it again. And I think that there are people in our community who are ready to foster, and we desperately, desperately need families that will foster children. A lot of the children in our system are not adoptable. They have a family connection, but for whatever reason, those families are not able to take care of those children. Those children still need a family. They still need somewhere where they can have a sense of permanency, a sense of felt safety, where a family will be in it with them, no matter what it looks like, whether it's a year, whether it's 3 years, whether it's 18 years, whether it's for the rest of their lives. And that's a desperate, desperate need that we have in our system. There are 85 foster families in the Harare area. It's not enough. It's just not enough. So that might be something that you would consider this month while we're talking about adoption and foster care and Orphan Sunday. Becoming a foster parent might be something that you would want to think about. A child needs that. A child needs you to be there for them. And if you're interested in that, there will be information about where you can get involved. There are so many ways that we can be involved as communities, as churches, as individuals. And not everybody wants to adopt, not everybody wants to foster, and maybe not everybody should. But there is something that everybody can do. And I want to ask you just to consider what your part is. What's your role in this picture? You might want to support a foster family. You might want to get involved in projects that work to strengthen families. There's a great need for that. Community-based initiatives, community-based help and support to prevent kids, high-risk children, from being relinquished, from being given up, being put into orphanages or being abandoned. Maybe you can work with teenage girls that are pregnant, that are expecting a child and don't know what to do. That could be a space that you could get involved in. Strengthening of families, investment at community level into families is proven to have up to 10 times a better outcome than investing in orphanages and in large number institutions. So there are many, many things that you could do. Education support is a big deal. Many families desperately want to keep their kids and they can't afford to send them to school. That's something that you could do. Providing medical care, maybe giving somebody a job, maybe giving a single mom who has a lot of children or has one child and cannot care for them, giving her a job so that she can provide for her own child. That's something that you could consider if you're a business person. There are many, many things that you can do, and you can connect with your church, you can connect with your pastors here, and they have a list of things. There's something that everybody can do to make a difference and to help children find families, find permanency, and for us to see as a nation better outcomes for our children. We have something like 1.8 to 2 million children that are orphaned, that are fatherless in Zimbabwe. And if we don't provide different interventions and come up with solutions, in the long term, a decade from now, 15 years from now, we're going to have a very serious problem in our community and in our social setting, because kids are going to have so many issues. There are going to be so many issues that we have to take on. So we're saying let's prevent that. Let's get into orphan prevention. Let's talk about family strengthening. Let's talk about foster care, educational support, many, many things that you can do. And that's our challenge for you today, is if you would consider what your part is, because you do have a part. Everybody can do something to make a difference.